Thank you. So I'm going to do some announcements right now. Um, in the chat, there are a series of different links. One is to the Denver Meditation Center YouTube channel, where I have posted all of the meditations that I've been streaming the last couple of years, plus podcast and some other content in there. Just encourage people, if you like the flavor of what's going on here, to please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also in there, there's a link to the Godcast podcast. So I put together a little 5 minute snippet of that podcast for Sacred Dance Sunday today. And at 1:11 p.m. Denver time, we'll be premiering on YouTube the full podcast for your entertainment and edification. Um, Also, just want to announce that on next Wednesday, January 17th, 8 a.m. on Zoom, Denver time. The link is there. In 2020, I co founded an online networking group for people who are supporting each other spiritually and monetarily. So it's a kind of a support group, but also an educational. Travis, what do you want to chime in to what is Abundance Networkers for you?
It's a place where a bunch of people from different walks of life come together and help each other out in their businesses. Whether, like me personally, I am a musician as well as swara, so we help other people out with music. I help swara out. There's other people that run financially based businesses and tax information people. Uh, can't really think of what else.
Real estate
Real
and
estate,
acupuncture, wellness people.
book writers, art or authors, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what we would call
Editors,
it.
professional editor. We have a professional editor, someone who can help you with your taxes, someone who can help you with your website, and someone who can clean your house.
Yeah.
The cleaning Buddha. I
So,
love
all,
that.
yeah, all walks of life just to help each
Ah.
other out and share each other's businesses, use each other's businesses, and yeah,
Yeah, so
bounce
that's a
bounce
really cool
ideas.
thing, right? Because um, the business networking community, just in general, people have to put on the front and the face that they have their act together
Mm.
and everybody plays with the same mask. Whereas at Abundance Networkers, you can really just be yourself. And so, yeah, I saw that heart reaction. So, be super cool if you wanted to come and join, Lucy. Any other announcements? I received that donation. Thank you so much, Lucy. I'm inspired. I want to change the donation to $1.11 to $22 or something like that. Anyway, just I love that numerology. So you're definitely our peeps here. And also in the chat, there's a few links to other related events outside of Denver Meditation Center events. Ecstatic Dance Community is really kind of our peeps, people who are looking for non traditional ways to approach spirituality and prayer and um, transformation and spiritual enlightenment. What is that even? So there's other events there in the chat, whether you're a Denver local or someone international. There's some international Zoom offerings for meditation and ecstatic dance. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and play you captions from the podcast that I recorded this last week with a woman by the name of Kathy Miller, and she is in the Abundance Networkers group. And she's not a CPA, it's something different. She's like certified with the IRS to prepare taxes. So that's different from a CPA, but pretty much does the same functionality. So in our podcast, we're just talking about what religion was she brought up in and just see where the conversation goes from there. So I hope you enjoy it. Here is a snippet from our Godcast podcast this week.
As an autistic, I feel the world in a different way. My senses are heightened in places and they're ridiculous in other places. And so I couldn't figure out what the problem was. So in my spirituality, I'm like, well, I must be, you know, the guides are around me. They're telling me what I need to know, and that's why I know all of this information over here and none of this information over here.
Yeah.
And this is the information everybody expected me to pick up,
Yeah.
but I was over here.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so I want to welcome Kathy Miller. So thank you so much for coming and being a willing participant in this experiment of mine.
Thank you for having me. We'll see how we go. My grandparents were Pentecostal, so my mom refused to do religion and took all of the rules that go with religion that she grew up with and made them just rules. Like they were just, this is how women acted. This is how. So like I didn't have the religion to back it up, and this is why we did the weird things we did.
Yeah.
We just we just had this God exists. Good luck with that. How, here are all these rules. Follow them. And that was it. Yeah, privacy wasn't really a thing. Doors always had to be open a crack so they could make sure we weren't going to miraculously burn down the house in our
Wow.
bedroom or any of those
Wow.
things.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was just very strict, no real groups or friends or anybody to really have around me. I was also an autistic. I feel the world in a different way. My senses are heightened in places and they're ridiculous in other places. And so I couldn't figure out what the problem was. So in my spirituality, I'm like, well, I must be, you know, the guides are around me. They're telling me what I need to know, and that's why I know all of this information over here and none of this information over here.
Yeah.
And this is the information everybody expected me to pick up,
Yeah.
but I was over here.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
So we just went down talking to spirit guides, and those types of things to just really understand why I was here. I really kind of bounced around through everything, but I found that my intuition really honed in on what I needed, and so I was able to do stuff kind of at a different speed than the people around me, and so that kind of causes some conflict for you to hang out with those people, and because it's one of those things, when a super faithful person prays, and it doesn't matter how they pray or where they pray, like if they pray, you can feel it. Like there is a feeling of warmth and those types of things. And that understanding of what I was going for was something I had at a young age. Like I knew what feeling I needed to feel when I was connected, especially being connected to my higher self. It gave me control where I had none. It let me push my life in a direction that that I knew what the outcome was, but I didn't know how to get there. And so we just kept messing up how to get there until we
Yeah.
finally got it right. And now
Yeah.
I'm sitting here going, oh, that's what I was going towards. There it
Ah,
is.
good. Yeah.
But I didn't notice I was my own light in the darkness.
Mm,
I had to come back around to that. And you got to look back in your childhood and look for you being light in your darkness because you
mm,
made it.
mm-hmm.
And you would, as a child, be crying with happiness to
Mm,
see you right now.
mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's a beautiful message. You know, I just feel like you really led us into a really deep, sweet space. So I'll end
I
with
hope
that,
so.
and I'll invite you
Thank you.
back again. Let's continue the storytelling. I'm learning to tell
Yeah.
my own story, and I want to
Yay.
hear
I
more
would
of
love to
yours.
hear yours.
Yeah, we'll
That
do
would be
that.
great.
Yeah, so again, the full podcast will be premiering on YouTube at 1:11 p.m. today. I just find Kathy captivating, and she's super, super uber smart and knows a lot about neurodiversity. So I already feel like I want to have her back as someone on the podcast. So with that, I did put together a little story for you as part of my storytelling. Um, how would you say journey online? I loved how our special guest last week, Stephanie, talked about the more we share our stories, the more permission we give for other people to share their stories. And I've just for years and years, I've hosted transformational meditation retreats and seminars and intensives. And I've heard just literally hundreds, thousands of people tell their stories. And what happens after hearing everyone's unique and fascinating story, we start to see a commonality between everyone. You know, we're all so much more alike than we are different in our desire to love and be loved and the challenges that we face in life. So, mm, my particular story is a unique one because I've chosen a path where I've followed spiritual masters, literally put everything in my car that I could fit in my car and moved across state because there was a spiritual master leading meditations, and started my life up over. So this is just a little bit of my story and my way of coming out and my own unique approach towards God, spirit, spirituality, and personal transformation. This is my story by Yogi Swara. Stories of sitting with spiritual master, living in a modern day ashram, and living in a lifestyle of yogic practices. One time, when I was on Kalindi's team, we spontaneously gathered together in a group to go into meditation. Kalindi was leading the meditation, and when the music started, there was probably a group of 10 or 12 of us, and immediately everyone just bowed down and went into a deep state of meditation and started letting go. And I was left sitting there. I was sitting up straight. I wasn't quite connecting to what everybody else was experiencing. And I was just really trying to find what is the direction that Kalindi wants to take us in right now. Where is that? How come I feel kind of flat inside? And I just sat with it and I was kind of rocking back and forth, just being present. But yet all I could feel was stillness inside. The longer I sat there, being present in the moment with what was true for me, the more uncomfortable I became because I was aware that I was the only one that was just sitting in stillness. And Kalindi was right there with us. And that internal pressure got so great, I kind of caved. I was like, I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. I can't stand that feeling. So I hit the floor and I started moving and, thriving and letting go or trying to do it right. I don't know what else to say, but, I went with it. And the thing about meditation is you can never do it wrong. Even right there in that moment, I was being challenged because being genuine and true meant that I stick out as different. And I don't think any of us really like that feeling. Fear of doing it wrong, fear of being too dense to understand deeper things. I'm not sure how long that meditation lasted. It might have been one song, or it might have been an hour. But when the music calmed down and we all just kind of sat in a closing circle and Kalindi talked to us, and I think she addressed me directly. She said, back in the early days when all of this stuff started happening, the lady, who, by the way, sidebar, is a living spiritual master, the first disciple of Kalindi's, who reached a full state of awareness in her own process and transformation. She said, the lady would just sit there for the longest time and wait until something came over her that she couldn't deny. And I walked away from that meditation really feeling empowered to really trust what's true. And if it means that I have to stick out and be different than everybody else, the word that comes to me now is courage. So much of my transformation the last 3 years has been about the discovery of courage and how fear has blocked me from proper action in my life, and the ramifications of that harm to myself, harm to people that I love. So this is me sticking out again, telling stories about sitting with the spiritual master, and this is just one of many stories I can't wait to share with you. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to encourage everyone. I want to hear your story. So my email is in the chat. And if that's something you'd be interested in doing, we could schedule a Zoom and I can record it. And there's something incredibly cathartic about um, being public about who you are. And so if that's something that you would like to do, please email me and let me know. Now, at this point, we would normally go into a wake up and dance together here in Zoom. Unfortunately, because my tech is down today, we're going to just do it a little bit differently. In the chat, I put a link next to Wake Up and Dance video. Um, and that is a link that I made last week. It has a guided meditation part to it. Normally, the meditations that I stream on YouTube are not guided, but this is just kind of a basically how to um, meditation start. So, what we'll do is we'll end the Zoom now, but just going to give you a minute to make sure you get all of those links. And I would just direct you to that link to do that 1 hour meditation. Give it a try. And, observing it without participating, without getting up and moving your body is a valid way to participate because you can still move your energy body even when your physical body is still. And really, this is all about passing on different ways of approaching prayer and meditation. So I do well with learning by watching other people, see how they do it, and also by repetition. So this first 9 minutes of that 1 hour meditation is the guided part where I explain how we're moving, what we're doing to move energies, open up the auric field, and activate all of the main chakra centers. Um, so with that, I'm going to just ask Travis if you have any thoughts you want to share before we go offline on Zoom.
No, not really. I do like the, I guess what Stephanie had said, that you restated the fact, hearing other people's story makes you comfortable to tell your story. Yeah, that's, I mean, I've been getting more vulnerable with my story, so I know we had already spoke about meeting up and telling my story. So yeah, I would definitely like to do that sometime.
Yeah, when we can schedule the time. I think first we got to get our technology square
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this thing. We'll get there.
yeah. We need
We
to do
will
it
get
before
there.
Mercury goes retrograde again.
Oh my gosh. Ugh, I don't even know what that means, except I don't want it. But it is. We're
It's good. It's
like,
good.
not, yeah.
Everybody has a. They all look down upon it, but if you embrace it, like the last
Yeah.
Mercury retrograde we had was phenomenal for me personally.
When was that?
It was right basically through all of the holidays,
Okay.
and then it ended a few days into the new year.
This
I
year.
don't remember the exact dates. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, actually I did pretty well. That the eclipse, I don't know if it was a lunar or solar eclipse in October, that
Oh,
one threw me for a loop. I was like, "Wah!" That was kind of crazy to come out of. So, anyway, I just want to thank you so much for coming, and we're going to end this session now. Please do check out the meditation on YouTube, and I hope to see you again next week, and we'll be able to meditate together in the same energy space. So, with that, I bid you a namaste.